Hey guys, real quick recap of some of the spots that I go to in the spring for kayak fishing for salmon, steelhead, Lakers, and all the good fish that you can catch out there in Lake Huron. I'm going to use screen recorder if you guys want to follow along, and I'll give you a couple pointers that I know of anyway. All right, let's go. First off, I'm going to start by opening up Google Maps. I was already in looking at a few spots earlier. Or Google Earth, I'm sorry, not Maps. Alright, so most guys are coming from the south, I would imagine. So I'll just show you where I'm coming from. I'm coming from this area right here. So heading up 94, heading up towards Port Huron. And the first spot that's pretty decent in the spring that I find that it has good access to or for kayak fishing would be, where is it? North Lakeport, right here. There's a nice launch there. It's free. You can get in pretty much anytime you want. It's a very small parking lot, and it's about a 75-yard gravel or sand trip to bring your kayak from the parking lot to the water. So you might want a cart. Zoom in on the launch right here. It's real easy to get to right off of M25. As you see, here it is right here. Small parking lot, small crossing to the water, and it's a surf launch right here. So watch out on east winds or north winds because you won't be able to fish here. And always keep that in mind with Lake Huron. East winds or north winds of any sort are going to make it difficult. You want a west wind, a southwest wind, a light northwest wind, or a light south wind. As you see, you've got shallow water in tight, anywhere from 2, 3, all the way out to the blue area here, where it drops down to about 20 to 30. And the best spot early is in the cloudy water, not super clear, in this area here, right along the edge, about 10 to 15 to 18 foot of water. It seems to be best here. And south, I've had the most luck, all the way down towards Lakeport, out in front, in this general area here. Cohos, anything in this area, you can catch a lot of different species in this area. Cohos early, I'd imagine Atlantics. I know they're stocking them now at Lexington, so that would be a good spot to try that. But lake trout, steelhead, kings, cohos, maybe a brown, anything in this early season along the shoreline here. So that's the first spot I would try. Then moving north, you find Lexington. Lexington, you need a pass, the state park pass to get in. This area here in the harbor, there's a couple different points you could launch. You could either launch in the harbor area here where the regular docks are, and you head out basically in this direction on out, or there's a separate area where you could park here and drag your kayak across the sand, or obviously use wheels all the way across the beach, which is a long trek, and launch here. This is free, but it's a lot harder. Or you could launch right off the docks here. But it does get busy in the spring, so you may find it easier to use this launch. But anyways, Lexington, real good spot. As you can see, it's set up right here, nice little mud line, and that is something you want to look for. I'm betting right now if this was the spring season, this would be perfect right along this edge. But generally, I haven't had as much luck here as other spots, but I know a lot of guys have. You can run out and run along the rock wall. A lot of guys have success in this area here. I've heard a lot about it. I haven't had that much success, but there's a trailer park here, and the guys are always talking about off the trailer park. Or to the south, this whole area, anywhere up and down the shoreline is good, but for the most part, I've caught fish here right along the rock wall, and it's not very far to go. If you're looking for a quick paddle or a quick pedal out, this is a real good area just to try. Then moving further north, let me zoom out. Heading up M25, the next stop I would try is Port Sanilac. There we go. I know it's here somewhere. Did I miss it? There it is. About 10 miles further north. Sanilac, really good spot. And I find like these Lexington, Sanilac, Harbor Beach are better later on in the year. Actually moving further north, it seems like the fishing gets better a little bit towards the tip of the thumb as the year progresses, from anywhere from ice out starting from the south end and then moving towards the north all the way up until May or so, maybe even mid-May is when the best fishing is. So Port Sanilac mid-spring is a really good spot. You can launch, pretty much the only spot to launch, it would be right in the main area where all the boats launch. Right here. Once again, you need a pass to get in. Actually, that's not the parking lot, sorry. It's actually right here. That's the marina. And fishing, you can catch fish in the harbor here if you wanted to try here. But the main lake, you've got a channel right here you have to watch. It gets really, really rough because of the waves bouncing off the pier here and bouncing off the adjacent pier. It can be really tricky in here, especially on a south blow, so be careful of that. It's almost like a washing machine. It gets really scary. There's a few guys I've gone with that can attest to that. So keep that in mind. If it starts blowing hard, you might want to get in. Or if all else fails and you don't want to try it, you can always beach your kayak over here and be safe. But you'd have to figure out a way to get all your stuff back across, and this might be private property. Basically, anywhere along the drop-off, which is going to be, actually it's a little deeper right out in front. Right out in here it's about 35 foot, but you can head up and down the shoreline in the same 10 to 20 foot zone early, and then a lot of guys head out into the 30 and 40 and do well out there. But I've had my best luck actually a little bit south and out a little bit deeper in the 30-35 foot of water area. Moving north, there is another spot before Harbor Beach. Forestville. There's a really cool launch here. Right off of M25, right in the middle of this small town. You turn, head down a hill. There's a very small parking area, a very small park, and a giant tree right in the middle of the road. Right here. A small little jet ski launch almost. It's not for any type of normal watercraft besides like a jet ski, but it's a perfect spot to launch a kayak, and the structure out here is really good. It's super rocky and tight, There's giant boulders all along the bottom that give good structure, and I haven't done as well here as I thought I would, but we have caught fish here. A couple guys I've gone with have caught a few fish, including kings and lake trout. And we've marked a lot of fish here, but I just haven't done so well. I've only been here half a dozen times or so, but I really want to try here in the future some more. Same general zone you're looking for, you know, the drop off from the 10 to 20 to 30 foot zone in here, but the structure is really excellent. More so than any other spot that I'm going to show you or I've already shown you. A lot of boulders, and that keeps away the motorboats too. They don't want to end up, you know, with a prop in a boulder, so you can have a nice little troll in here without worrying about much. There's not another launch around anywhere near here too, so you're pretty much going to be by yourself. So from there, moving north, is one of the spots that I like the most. Of course, it's farthest away of my favorite spots, but it's up here. Harbor Beach. Harbor Beach, there are 3 separate launches, and I mainly only would recommend one of them, which would be the launch off of Trescott Road, I believe. It is right near the South Pier, Bathing Beach Park. The road you head down is right here. There's a parking area, and it's not a long walk at all across some sand, but you might want a cart. And this harbor is 1 mile from the beach to the lighthouse at the end of this pier. So that's quite a big harbor, and this harbor does house a lot of fish. You can fish it and catch fish inside the harbor. In this area here, there's a channel for freighters that you can kind of see in the picture here. It's deep, it's 20 foot deep in here, so you can catch fish, and a lot of charter boats I've noticed have trolled this area on rough days and caught fish. I had a really good day before trolling this area, catching a lot of cohos, kings. But generally, my favorite area to fish in the spring is this stretch of rock wall right here and around the corner here. It holds fish like you wouldn't even imagine, but all the motorboats know about it also, so they'll scrape planer boards right along the line here, and you really have to watch other boats here. So I generally launch here, and I'll head out, depending on the wind, I'll head out to the North Gap and then come around the corner and troll up and down a few times, scraping the rock wall because it drops off immediately from right along the wall down to about 25 foot. And lake trout especially like to hold right in here. And out in this area, a lot of guys catch coho in the spring early. And bait usually holds in this mouth. It drops off very fast out here, so about 35 foot, and I've noticed and marked a lot of bait right here, right by the lighthouse. But once you're heading out into the lake here, the hot spots that I've found along the rock wall, out in front of the gap, right in this area here, right when you pass the south rock wall, there's an area right here where it gets shallow quick, but right before it gets shallow, there's a nice area where I've caught a lot of lake trout. And then there is a small creek right around here. Right out in front of that creek, there's a cemetery, and it's really good right in here. Fish can really hold in here on certain days where you can run through and mark and have a couple hit like bang bang immediately. So keep that in mind if you want to head south here. It can be really good, but I highly recommend that you don't stray too far away, because I've noticed that Harbor Beach seems to kick up waves the fastest out of any of the spots that I've shown you. I believe that it's open to more wind. If you look at the map, you have a greater area where wind can affect the water, and if you have any kind of blow whatsoever across the lake, it's going to kick up the waves quite a bit, rather than down further south where you don't have that, and you have a shorter distance for the wind to cross over open water. Up here it gets rough quick, so keep that in mind. If you're going with somebody that's probably better off, but you just want to be really careful. Like you know, obviously you want to be really careful, but I would highly recommend not straying too far away at Harbor Beach. Maybe on a really calm day where you're confident that the winds aren't going to kick up would be the day that you could stray away and venture out into areas, you know, further south or further out or further north. But I've never done well north. Tried a few times, haven't done anything. Generally south seems to be good here. South or right in front of the harbor along this rock wall. And the good thing about the rock wall is that it blocks a lot of the wind. So that is another reason why it's my favorite spot to go. It's really good for calm water, and the structure here is excellent. So these bad boys right here are excellent. This one in particular, I've had the most luck with. I'm not sponsored by this company. I'm not sponsored by anyone, but this lure I won't leave without. Right here, this jointed minnow. It says it's a 1/2 ounce size. I know what it is by looking at it. I never have actually even looked at the size, but this is the one right here. It runs about 8 foot down, 6 to 8 foot, and it just has some action to it that fish just love. I've caught so many fish on it. It's my most confident lure to use, so that's the one right there. Along with that, though, hot and hots are really good. You can run spoons if you want. Any sort of way you want to try that. You can, you know, if you've got a little downrigger, you might want to try, like I do. You can flatline. You can use inline sinkers. You know, a lot of you guys know the ways to troll big water. So I don't like to try to tell you how to do things. If you're looking to learn how to do that kind of thing, I recommend just using flat lines with lures like this because it's the easiest way. But a lot of guys know different ways to get down deep. I'm no expert on that, I won't pretend to be. Flatlining, though, to me, it's the easiest way, and you try to keep it simple. The KI, what is it? Keep it simple, stupid kiss. So that's the way I like to go. All right, I'll show you guys a few pictures that might help, may or may not. Here's fish that were caught at Lakeport early in the year. This was in early April. Harbor Beach, May 10th was the date on these pictures, so shows you that later in the year, towards later in the spring, excuse me, can be good. A nice king I caught inside the harbor. Here's that same king, I believe. Yep. May 17th, Brandon with a nice coho he caught. There's a nice steelhead I caught out in front, right out in front of the gap at Harbor Beach. Lakeport, April 12th is the date on this. Show you that cohos like this you caught there. These are some shots from a few years ago. Harbor Beach lake trout. As you can see, they get pretty big. You can catch some nice Lakers out there, and this fish finder gives away some really good information. 14 foot of water. That's a key area. That's generally the depth of water that you'll be looking for. And 43 degrees, that's perfect. It seems like right after ice out, you don't do so well until the water warms up a little bit, and then once it hits that 40 to 45 degree area, it seems like that's when I've had my best luck, and a lot of guys will say the same thing, I bet. But the water here too is that nice little tinted green color. This right here, this was perfect conditions. This is exactly what I'd be looking for. Let's see, some older pictures. You know, brown trout coho that was caught at Harbor Beach. 15-pound laker. This is actually my best lake trout ever. Harbor Beach along the rock wall that I was speaking so highly of earlier. As you can see, this is pretty perfect. I would love to be out there right now in this kind of stuff, but it's a nice lake trout right there. Caught just trolling along with a bomber, I believe, right along the rock wall towards the end of it. This actually would be the north side of the harbor. There's the north gap right here, and you could troll up and down these rock wall, this rock wall right here. It's about 20 foot of water right here. And there are some really nice fish that hang out in Harbor Beach. This fat boy was caught inside the harbor. And I don't believe browns of this size are, you won't find many of them anymore. Not like when I caught this one here. They're not really planting them anymore, but they are planting Atlantic salmon at Lexington. So a lot of Atlantic salmon have been caught in this area, and I've yet to catch one, but I know that day's gonna come. And I think the fishery's doing pretty well with Atlantic, so that's something to look forward to. Alright, I hope some of this information helped you guys. I know a couple guys were looking for information about it, so that's why I figured I'd make a quick little video. If that helped out, then good. I'm glad I did it then. Alright, thank you.